Well, Johnny, we want to thank you guys again for hosting us again for this bargaining session. I'm just going to jump right into it. You guys handed us a proposal regarding the president's provisional.
Okay.
We went back, we looked at it. We do have a counter proposal on it, just adding some language that I think would make the city feel more comfortable. So I'm going to go ahead and hand that to you already. So this counter proposal, it keeps in principle the provisional position. One of the things that we added in there was that, you know, if a president's successors, whoever comes along down the line, if they're of a different rank than the president, that only one provisional position is going to exist at a time. So for using you as an example, if the captain's provisional and you decide you're going to go back into the field, the captain's provisional will stay out there until there's a vacancy. And then if, say, the next president is firefighter 2 or firefighter 1, that provisional wouldn't be created until that captain provisional has gone away.
Okay. When we gave this to you, we had a kind of a package deal with the deputy chief. Y'all interested in it? You want to separate them?
Yeah, we're separating them. We have a we have a separate proposal that's going to touch on that.
All right, I'll need to talk to my team.
Okay. Do you guys have anything right now, or?
I actually had a question.
Okay.
And you know, this week I sent you 2 requests for some research information. I just had one of them was the pay scale and what that pay scale fleshed out to on how much it cost, just base wages. And although we were really close, we were off about 800,000. I just need to know, where is it? Okay. That's all I really need to know.
Eddie?
Eddie, you came up with a number of 34,362, 599.
Right.
And our number's a little bit under that.
Okay.
However, everything else, like on this side, the right-hand side, the monthly cost of those wages are spot on. So what is it that we're not seeing?
Okay, so you had 59 cadets plus the 422, 97 firefighter 1s, 237 firefighter 2s, 75 captains and 13 battalion chiefs, which is 422, I think. So there's 449 authorized minus the 4 assistant chiefs, 1 deputy, 1 chief.
Okay.
So there's 31 in the academy that should come out in what, June, July?
Okay.
So we expect to be at full complement. So we added the 27 in.
Okay.
At firefighter 1 salary.
But aren't they already in the equation as cadets?
We always have 2 classes of cadets. Even if we're fully complemented, we would expect
So you're anticipating
40
next
to
January
44 cadets in 2 classes going on.
So basically, you're anticipating a cadet class. Not only will these guys be out on shift, we'll have another cadet class.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I understand. Okay. So that's why our numbers are a little.
But we instead of 59 cadets, we sent 40 to 44, somewhere in that range,
Okay.
if you were at a full complement.
Okay.
So if you add the 120, about 125 for the vacant positions monthly, and then I took out 15 cadets.
And that's monthly as well?
Yes.
The 56,000
Yeah.
drawback? So
Right.
basically 70,000 a month?
Yeah, yes.
Times
Yes.
12?
Yes.
840K?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I mean, now I see where you're at.
Okay.
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 All right. Yeah, the other thing was, last session, we asked for a cost breakdown of dog handler pay and the 40-hour on-call pay. Were you able to do those two?
I have them, I need to make copies. Or I can go, I mean,
Hey, you guys okay with just the numbers? I think we're okay with just the numbers, Eddie.
okay.
I mean, and we can get the copy at break.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the dog handler,
Yes, sir.
I had 18,000 and 18,091 per year,
Okay.
which is total for the 4 years of 72,363,
Okay.
and that's 2,624 for the 170 per month, including retirement, and then calculating on 185 days off.
So the 18,000 is turnkey?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
that's fine.
Okay, and then on the on-call, 118 hours a week to cover.
Okay.
So the 7,893 per individual. It takes 3 to be on call, so times 3, it's 23,680 per year.
Okay.
Or 94,720 for the 4-year term.
Okay, and again, that 23,680 is turnkey?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So that being said, the city has put together a package proposal. It's gonna touch on some of the things that we just discussed. It's gonna be the salary increases. It's gonna be dog handler pay, the on-call compensation, as well as an assignment specialty pay. And there is an item in there for healthcare, and I'll hand this over to you guys, and I'll walk you through each page of it.
How many copies did we get?
There should be 10. So on the first page, we have salary increases of 7%, 3%, 2%, and 2% across the 4 years of the contract. We also included the dog handler pay, which we just discussed. The on-call compensation, the number is off, but the number that just was provided to you by Eddie, it actually increases it just by about $60,000. And then we've also included the assignment specialty pay, increasing it from 125 to 155. And there's a proposal contained within the package that discusses that. So the total bottom line for the total contract cost should be $22,178,492. So moving on to the next page of it is the assignment pay. So right now, we have it separated out into hazmat stations, rescue stations, and water and boat rescue stations. What we're looking to do with this part of the package is combine everything into a specialty station assignment pay. All the certifications and training requirements remain the same. as they are in the current contract. We're just raising the complete rate up to 155. And so every firefighter that's assigned to one of those stations that has that training and certification, they'll receive $155 at each station. Moving beyond that into the next portion of the package, it's a healthcare package, or it's a change just to the healthcare and how the formulary, not how the formulary is calculated, but how the plans are treated.
Can I ask you one quick question
Yes, sir.
on that specialty assignment pay, the certification and training requirements? That's not new, although it's underlined in red.
Correct, that's not new, that's just moving
Okay,
the
you just
language,
moved it,
it's just
okay.
moving the language
I just
down,
wanna
yeah.
make sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all the certification training requirements are exactly what's in the current contract.
Okay.
Moving on to the next portion of the package is the healthcare portion. This is addressing the formulary, and this is, I know, something that, it's been a point of contention for a while, I guess, during the term of the contract.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Basically, what it would do is, it's just saying that during the term of the contract, both the CDHP and the PPO plans are gonna be treated separately, utilizing the same formulary that's already in the contract, but they're gonna stand on their own. I think one of the key issues on this part of the package is that the CDHP plan has been subsidizing the PPO plan. And so in order to make it fair to the people that are on each plan, it will basically treat them separately. So increases will be based on their actual usage, not on each other, the total usage. Okay. Moving on to the next portion of the package, this is a sick leave drag up. What this does is all it does is convert the hours into days, or the days into hours. I'm sorry. The operation firefighters, the hours conversion, it's direct 12 hours times whatever days were in the contract currently. And then to get the hours for the non-operation firefighters, we included, we basically took those hours, took the I think it's 2880 for 54-hour firefighter, and then put that ratio to 2080 for a 40-hour firefighter. And so the ratio comes out to about 1.35, and it basically equalizes everybody. Let me see here. I have an actual example. So this right here is just a breakdown. I ran, a few scenarios of how this would work and how it looks like. So kind of walking through this example. Yes. So walking through this example, we have, 54 operational firefighters at 54 hours a week, 52 weeks, that's 2,808 hours annually. And operational firefighters at 40 hours a week times 52 weeks, 2080. So that ratio is the 1.35, and that's what we applied to get the conversion from the hours that operational firefighters are able to sell back, as well as non-operation firefighters. So, I provided 3 examples. There's one of a 10-year captain, a 7-year firefighter 2, and a 2.5-year BC. It takes their monthly salary, annualizes it, and then depending on how they're treated, operational and non-operational, takes it into an hourly rate. And that hourly rate is applied, and so you can kind of see it doesn't create it exactly, but it keeps it well within range. And I think that was the true intent of what we wanted for the firefighters, or what the firefighters would like too. Is if you're a captain with so many years and you go back to sell back your hours, the captain with the same amount of years that may not be maybe operational or non-operational, you guys are going to be receiving the same amount of compensation when you retire. Okay. And then the last portion of the package goes back to the appointments by the fire chief. So this is revisiting what the fire chief would like, and that's to be able to appoint anyone at the assistant chief and deputy chief ranks. And this would obviously grandfather in anybody that's already there. And then moving forward, any vacancy would be filled by the fire chief, or appointed by the fire chief.
Just a couple of quick observations, Gabe.
Yes, sir.
On the sick leave pool, I mean, the contract says what it says, right? Black and white. This is a huge departure from what the contract does say, and I mean, we just bargained this last cycle, and I know, you know, we both missed something. You know, but at the same time, there's those people that do work a 40-hour week, you know, are at a disadvantage when it comes pay-wise. We kind of see that type of mechanism as a benefit to working a 40-hour schedule, because people don't want to work 40-hour schedules. You know, they want to be in operations and take advantage of, you know, not only the shift that we work, but any overtime potentials and stuff like that. And you know, I've been in 40-hour week for 8 years now, and I bet you in 8 years I've got 20, 30, 40 hours of overtime. You know, so it's at my expense to be, you know, what I'm doing, and most of those people on the 40-hour week experience that same thing. You know, they miss out on those opportunities. So, we'll need to talk it over with my team, and kind of we'll go from there. And I think we've got some ideas too. I think it's kind of a compromise win-win type deal. It's, you know, hopefully you guys will look at it. On that cycle, it's not the chief's intent on this assignment pay to eliminate any stations, right?
No, it's not eliminating any stations.
Okay. I think currently we have 4 stations that are designated that type of system. It actually probably opens it up for him in the future if we were to have a 5th or a 6th, or, you know, whatever. So, okay. Insurance. Yeah, I'll get to it. You know, Gabe, just 4 years ago, Michael, we stepped out on a limb with you guys. And, you know, we did everything that we could to educate and those types of things. And I can't argue with anything you said about, you know, the difference between the 2 plans, but, you know, we've only had 4 years for that thing to work. And you're right, it wasn't contentious. We just, we had some discussions every summer about, you know, the mechanism in which those premiums are calculated, and we've always come to an agreement on it. But I can't help but come back to the idea that, I mean, just 4 years ago, you guys stuck out an olive branch. We took it. We helped. You know, I think we ended up saving the city, maybe y'all can correct my math, but about $1.5 million a year on that. And so immediately, one of the things I want to know, I don't know who would know the answer, but how much does the city pay in premiums on the PPO? I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Is that something we could get?
Yeah, we'll bring it forward.
Okay. You know, we've had lots of discussions on insurance, and I would hope, I mean, I guess that's why we're here at the table. I would hope that you guys aren't hardened in your stance, because there's other ways to accomplish some of the things that you want to try to do to alleviate some of those costs. And maybe that's something we can talk about. Anyway, just know we're gonna wanna talk about insurance. I mean, y'all have opened that door, so we wanna talk about it. Kind of going back to the specialty station assignments, at the bottom of the first page where you break down the proposal package, can you explain why it's 171 eligible right now and it'll only be 138 in subsequent years?
So I think that's what, from what I understand, that's what's currently being paid out right now.
So if nothing's changing, why would that number go down?
I think that's because there might be some that are receiving duplicate pay. For example, they might be at a,
That's anticipating the 33
33.
add-on for the boat, yeah.
okay.
The
So,
the
so,
171 isn't, and then the 130 goes back to 138 because they're just paid for one.
I don't know that we have anybody that gets paid for two.
Well, not right now, but
if there's,
either
if
October
there's a
1 or
potential to
prior.
bring a potential for a, say, adding a boat rescue to a rescue station.
Oh, I get that, but why would the number go down? That number would go up.
So I think the number then should be actually 138, because I think that's what we carry right now.
Yeah, I'm not 100% on this, Johnny, but I think what it was that they're talking about boat pay at Station 1. Are those guys getting boat pay yet?
No, they get hazmat pay.
So that's what it was, is that they want to make, become a specialty station, so there's one specialty pay. So, for example, Station 1, they wouldn't get hazmat pay and boat pay. It's just one specialty pay for assignment, I think, is where these numbers are. That's why it goes down.
No, I understand that. But what I don't understand is, I think the 171 that are currently eligible is probably really close. But your proposal says it would go down to 138. I'm curious who you're cutting.
Well, it shouldn't be anybody that's being cut. It should be just the ones that are,
But that's what it says though.
I think what he's saying is, under the current contract, if you put the boat there, well, no, I don't want to say that.
We don't have anybody.
Do we have any stations that have two specialties?
Michael, there's no plan to cut any
No.
specialty assignments? That's
No,
all I need to know.
No, sir.
Yeah.
Let us go
Okay.
back and take a look at the
I-
numbers. It may
it's
be
wrong.
171.
Yeah, it is.
Might just be a typo.
Okay,
So,
okay. But there's no plan to
correct.
cut any specialty
No.
assignments?
no.
Okay. I think I just have one more thing, Michael, and it's probably more for you. You know, we had our first meeting last week, and we've got a relationship that goes back ever since the day you got here, you know, with our lunch meetings every couple months and stuff like that. And, you know, you guys come in and we understand we're at the table and this is a negotiation. We understand that, you know, but at the same time, you come in last week, and Peter did too, and I believe you guys. You guys want to treat us comparable. You guys, we know what you did on the other side, you know, just last year. We know all that. And when I go down and I look at the number in the right-hand corner, it's nowhere near comparable. But, I mean, I know that's why we're here,
Right.
right? I just want to, it's almost disingenuous, you know, a little bit. It's kind of like, but I probably need to talk to my team and look at some of the other things. And you guys aren't close to the idea of, I mean, there's a few other things that we would like for you to consider, you know, I mean, the 5.8 on paramedicine, you know, that 5 and 8, we'd like for you to look at that. We think it's, it doesn't hurt nobody, it doesn't cost anything, it's a win-win. There's probably a few other articles that, you know, we would definitely hope you guys would look at. And most of them, 3/4 of them don't cost nothing. You know, there's a couple that have cost to it, but they're not, you know, millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, Johnny,
Okay.
so in our discussion, I'm not being disingenuous in the team either. I understand where you're coming from. The purpose of this initial proposal is, to your point, we're at the table, that's what we're here to talk about. We also understand that you may have some economic issues that you would like to put on the table. So we wanted to leave some room for that negotiation. We didn't want to be hard and fast and come in with a number and say, we're not going to move it at all, right? So the purpose here is to show our initial proposal, hear from you, hear what you would like to see economically, so we can go back to the table, or to our team, review that, and then come back with a counter proposal. So in the past, we received a proposal from you first, from, you know, on the police side first as well. So I guess that was kind of the point initially, and I think that's kind of what we had in mind from the beginning. So I just want to make sure you know, and the team knows, we're not being disingenuous. It's part of the plan. We assume that you have some economic proposals that you want to put forward too, and we wanted to leave some room for that. So, and we want to hear from you, and then we can go back and take another look and come back to the table.
Okay. And maybe that was a poor choice of words on my part.
I understand.
I don't mean it the way the word is defined, but, okay. I understand. So, yeah, I guess let us caucus for a little bit.
Hey, Johnny, I have the answer to that question. On the 171 and the 138.
Yeah.
What it is if all we did was add a boat pay to Station 1, it would add additional 11 per shift. So they would be getting boat pay and hazmat pay. So that's where it would go. Right now, we currently are at 138.
So those numbers are flipped?
They're kind of flipped. We're currently, right now, we're at 138. And we didn't want, the thing wasn't to increase the number of multiple certifications at one station. We're not taking any away. It's just that would be a specialty station. So if they're a hazmat and then we add a boat to them, they're not getting a hazmat and a boat pay. It's a specialty pay that everybody's getting the same amount.
Okay.
So it doesn't cut anything from anybody now, and it doesn't cut any stations, if that makes any sense.
Okay. No, I mean, I understand the logic on it. Okay. We're good? Sorry for the long caucus, Gabe. Just have a couple of really just statements, and then we'll kind of work through everything. On the provisional position for the president, there's one sentence in that first paragraph. It's the last sentence. Talks about we'd like to see the word modify struck from that language. Other than that, I think we're okay on that.
It's the last sentence.
The whole last sentence.
It's the whole sentence.
Modify, deny,
So the kind of the issue with that too is that ultimately it has to go before council, city council approval. And I think that's kind of what we're just trying to encompass there. And I mean, we can get rid of the modify portion because they're either going to accept it or deny it. But they're also looking, you know, at whatever the fire budget is. Fire chief is going to take it to them, but ultimately it's, you know, within their decision. I mean, we don't foresee the council rejecting it, but that's still within their discretion.
Okay. Let us look at it again. You know, I think one of the things on the wage proposal that you gave us, we, you know, for starters, firefighters need 13% the first year just to get, you know, to a current average and to stay current throughout the rest of the contract. And one of the things that's kind of strange in Corpus Christi is we run a fire EMS system. Our guys, probably 90% of our guys are medics, and You know, we run a dual system, and I don't know of another top 7 except maybe Dallas that does that. You know, so we run an all ALS system, all those types of things, just so you can keep those, you know, in your mind. And as you know, the 25 top cities that I sent you, we're the 8th largest city, and we get paid at the 22nd level. We need, you know, the wage proposal you gave us, although it, you know, it brings us up, it's nowhere near to the average, but the fire department is the largest non-tax generating entity in the city. You know, we put money in the general fund and stuff like that. So what we would like to talk to you about on the pay scale is, in the first year, is we'd like to see our steps standardized is what we'd like to see. 3.5% between each step, starting, you know, from the firefighter 1. If we could, you know, get to that level. So, and I think, Eddie, just so we're clear, the 3.5, the step, when we talk about steps, firefighters start at the start, then they get a 6-month and a 30-month, an 84-month, and a 120-month. Those are called steps, right? If we could get a model that's built at 3.5 between each step, starting probably with, I mean, if we could do an 8%, 5%, 5%, 5%, see what that looks like, see what it costs. I think from there, today I don't think we're not ready to talk about insurance. I need a week or so on that. You know, get the team. We got to get some data and stuff like that. If we could come to some kind of agreement on the 3.5 step restructure of the wage scale, I'm not sure that we're bringing any other economics. You know, on our side, the wages, the firefighters are struggling just as, you know, everybody else is struggling, but firefighters, they are struggling, and we're looking for a way to, number one, fix that for the guy who promotes and has to take a pay cut. That's one of the things we look at. And also kind of keeping in mind the average that's out there. With the top 7, I think that average is 11 or 12% below average, and our top 25 it's about 15% below average, and we're not asking for 11, 13, or even the 15, you know, in the top 25 cities. And then we also, on the backside of that, we're fighting retention, keeping people here, you know, and pay is one of those components that keep people where they're at. When you can, you know, go to San Antonio or Houston or Dallas, the Metroplex, and make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more, that's hard to keep those people here. So we think the restructure of the steps goes a long way into trying to help solve some of that. And but if we could get that built, see what it looks like, see what it costs, those types of things. Depending on how that looks, like I said, I'm not sure that we have any more economics.
Let me ask you about the wage scale that you just got thrown out there. So you're wanting us to run a report showing the 3.5% between each step,
Mm-hmm.
and then also at an 8%, a 5%, 8, and then 3 5s across a 4-year contract.
Across a 4-year contract, yeah.
Okay.
And you end up with, it's just unifying these steps, not adding.
Hey, Eddie, there's percentage increases between the steps now.
Right,
Right.
right, they're just not all
They're
standard.
they're
Right.
staggered, they're all over the
But what
place.
about going from one, rank to the next, where like the 120-month firefighter one is, the firefighter 2 started less than that?
I would suggest that probably something on the tune of 0.5% from the rank before its top step. Just something,
Yeah,
You
not
know,
a
it-
decrease, like
Huh?
it is, not a decrease like it is.
not a decrease
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
is
yeah,
today,
yeah.
yeah. I think a 0.5% or something like that is feasible.
Yeah, you know, as far as the 8 and 3.5s, I mean, that's a 23% overall pay increase. I mean, I don't know how feasible that is, just, I mean, without even looking at it, I mean, I think that's a pretty big ask on the city.
I mean, at least we can see it, we can know where it's at. I mean, I don't see where it hurts. You know, I think at the end of the day, even in the top 7, we're 11 or 12, 13% below just the average, and we're only asking for 8. You know, I understand what you're trying to say.
Well, and I mean, just to further clarify, I mean, I think just those percentages in and of itself are a big ask, and then adding on top of that, the factor in of adjusting the pay steps.
Mhm.
I think that, you know, that really is a big ask.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how big is it? You know, I mean, that's the way it, and I think it's one of those things too, is, I don't think there's a person in this room that would want to take a pay cut to promote. And that's what our guys do, you know, and yeah, I mean, all you gotta do is look at our pay scale and see it. You know, we're just trying to alleviate that, and the step increases are, right now, are kind of scattered. I'm gonna use the firefighter 1. I think it's 2%, 4%, 3%. They're all over the place. And all we really want to do is standardize it. So,
And Johnny, just for some clarification, if you're going from firefighter 1 to 2 to fire captain to BC, you're seeing a pay increase on each one of those promotions. But what you're talking about is if you're in that position for 10 years and then promote, there's a pay decrease?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear.
yeah, so like the firefighter 1, entry level comes in, it's a 4%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 2%, 2%. I think that adds up to 19%. And I don't know what a 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5 is. Sounds like 19.5, right? 17.5? You know, but it standardizes the step procedure, step scale.
I mean, realistically, then, can we look at it, I guess, from our perspective with the wage proposal we put on now and seeing what that step increase looks like?
If you want to.
Just because, I mean, like I said, I think, you know, just on the numbers alone, that number's gonna be way off where, you know, where we're looking to go. And I think it's even more than what you guys had discussed at the last meeting.
And it may well be, right? I think it's really just, let's see it, see what it looks like, see what the structure looks like. And then I think from there is when we can start to discuss, you know, brass tacks. But we feel that, you know, based on the position that the department's in and how unique Corpus Christi is, the value that the employees, the firefighters bring to the city, at 8,555, that's what we're asking. What does it look like? Once we get to that, you know, negotiating on that scale, I don't anticipate us bringing any more economics. You know, I mean, it's not lost upon us that may be you know, a lot of money, but
Do you
at
have
least
a-
we can see it.
Do you have a wage scale right now? Just looking, I mean, without correcting the steps, do you have a wage scale right now to see what that would look like?
At 8,555? I do not at 8,555.
Is that something you might be able to send to us? Just,
Yeah, I can do that.
Sign that and you'll be retired. Sign that one.
Should we go until now?
Huh?
Should we go until now? So Johnny, we did the math really quick on the 8,555.
Mhm.
It comes out to $32.5 million. And during our last meeting, you threw out a number of $33 million. So what I'm hearing is, from last meeting, you threw out $33 million. We came back with our proposal, which is pretty good, 22, not final. And now what I'm hearing is 8,555 is 32.5, and then you also want to see the changes to the pay scale as well. So that's obviously going to bring in over the 33 million.
So the 32.5 is without the step
That's
restructure?
with- Correct. That's just the 8%, 5%, 5%.
So I'm wondering how it works when a firefighter one, his steps right now are 19.5, and we're willing to come to 17.5, but standardize it. How does it cost more?
It may not be the firefighter one, but when we start looking at the firefighter two, fire captain, and BC, I think that's when we might see the values change. We haven't done the analysis, but just looking at it quickly.
Okay. I mean, if nothing else, it gives us
Yeah, we'll put it
reference
together.
on,
Sure.
you know, what it looks like and. I think that's all we probably got today.
so you guys are gonna, just to make sure that we got any outline things, you guys are gonna take another look at our president's provisional? You know,
Yes.
we're okay with taking out the modified portion of it, but
Okay.
that sentence is in there, just like I said, so we're not binding council.
Okay.
Johnny, can we take just a brief
Yeah.
copy real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was another.
So you see it? Okay. Johnny, thank you for allowing us time to caucus. As far as the wage proposal, I think we're just gonna run it just looking at what the scale.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, the 8,555, I mean, that number is it's out of where we were moving towards.
Okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and we'll run that for you, but it'll just be the pay scale, you know, moving those things over.
Okay. Will it be something where I can see the formulas, Eddie?
Yeah,
Will it be editable?
yeah,
Is that a word?
yeah. Sounds good.
Not eatable. Okay. Yeah, as long as it's, and
Edible?
Gabe, we're perfectly fine with something like that. It's really gonna put us on an even playing field, right?
Right.
But I have to be able to see the formula, see how we get to where we're going. And I know that we talked earlier, I'm still a little bit confused about the 800,000 difference. I understand, you know, that you talk about the 44 and the attrition and all that stuff, and how do we bridge that gap? How do I bridge it? And I think the answer, Michael, is that when we get the pay scale and we can see the formulas, we can figure it out. At least we're talking the same language, that's all.
All right, I think one of the things that we would ask though is that next time we sit down on the table, we'd like to see a true counter. You know, I know you guys threw out some numbers today, but we'd like to see, you know, we put forth a proposal today, we'd like to see one from y'all.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're good.
On the provisionals position,
Yes, sir.
is that something that we can take care of today, or we just take care of it next week?
Uh,
I think the concern that we had on that last sentence, you know, is there's only one entity that can authorize a provisional position, that's the city council.
Right.
We would just like for it to say city council.
Okay.
And then we were a little bit hung up on, exactly what does modify mean? We can't figure it out.
Well, that part we can take
Okay,
out
and we-
modified and we'll
okay.
include city council in there. I think we can bring that back. We can bring that back to you next time.
Okay.
With that language modified.
Okay.
Well, not modified, but.
Yeah.
With that language.
Bad choice of words.
Included.
You got the same thing I got. Okay,
Okay.
we look forward to it.
All right, so we will see you guys next Wednesday at 1:30.